So I've been doing some thinking. Via meditation, that is. And a part of me believes that I could well be trapped within an NPC perspective. In other words, everything repeated, seen, witnessed, is nothing more than regurgitative, if that's how you pronounce it, information. In other words, in comparison to those that play the game, thinking that life is technically a game, right? Some of us are kind of I guess you can call it NPC. In other words, it's like we go out and about along our travels. While we're there, personally, within the company of others, spiritually and psychologically, we're not. And I believe the NPCs, in real life that is, are technically speaking people that not only fall victim into regurgitating old information, unable to spiritually discern it right. I also believe that these type of people are actually in fact trying to break free from the false conditions, man-made religions, ideologies, false indoctrinations, if I've not already said that. Hence why we may come across as, a lot of the time, expressionless. Because it's like, we're not of this world, but at the same time, we are of this world. Consider it drifting, maybe, who knows. And I don't believe for 1 minute that NPCs are actually, in fact, bad people at a whole. Because if they so happen to regain consciousness, right? Well, I say consciousness. If they so happen to regain their conscience, not only would they be able to, try that again. Not only would they be able to use common sense, knowledge, wisdom and logic more, rather they would be able to spiritually discern the information that they're absorbing, if that makes sense, by the droves, in weight. And the unfortunate truth about NPCs is that with many people, especially those within the entertainment industries, they see it as a scheme to make profit, right? Huge profits. Without thinking of others, especially those that are technically considered NPC. And like I said, not all NPCs are actually, in fact, blindly following old trends and all of this nonsense. Rather, some of us are trying to break free from all of that bullshit conditioning and false beliefs, ideologies, man-made religions, and any other trend for that matter. No, actually, I take that back. Those of us that try to break free from this wouldn't be considered an NPC at all. What would we be considered? A non-conformist, perhaps, has more of a ring to it. Yeah, I'll go with that. In other words, while the world, technically speaking, within people, are actually conforming like lost sheep, some of us are actually, in fact, breaking free from all of that, because we want to live a life that nobody else has actually thought of, nor created for themselves. A life based off of our own opinions, our own ideas, via spiritual discernment, along with knowledge, wisdom and logic. Now, a lot of people laugh and joke. I mean, right, this is what I've learned about human psychology, right? Those that laugh and joke the most are actually, in fact, the NPCs for real. They think it's, like I said, a game. They think life is a game. But they're going to come to the bitter truth that life is not a game. Because they are, technically speaking, wired by the world. They are programmed by the world. Whereas myself, I'm slowly decoding my subconscious mind from all of this nonsense. And this is why I intrigue a lot of people, because some days you may see me as expressionless, blank. In other words, it's like I'm physically there, but spiritually and psychologically I'm not. In other words, somewhere and somehow the world has actually got its claws on me. My soul, that is, my conscience. And then other days, it's like I am there. But rather living within my subconscious, I am living within my conscience, where I'm able to discern good from wrong, bad from right, immoral from moral, truth from lie, fact from fiction. Which I would say 98.9% up to 99% of people do not have the abilities to achieve. I mean, they could, by seeking after the biblical truth. Now, it's all good reading a gospel word or the gospel word, which I would recommend a lot of people do. But in order to get the real truth, it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, but it comes down to living in here and in here. In other words, did you honestly think that there's a shred of truth to the lives that we choose to live? Or do each and every one of you think that it's nothing more than a false image, an illusion that we've created for ourselves? That's all I see around me, or technically speaking, NPCs that are blindly following this system, its trends, the false ideologies, man-made religions, indoctrinations, the opinions, approvals and validations of other people, rather than live and think for themselves, independently, that is. Now, they could break free from this, you know, if they were to put in the work, that is, in here and in here. But the question is, how badly do people want it? Do you want it badly enough, like you claim? Or do you just, I don't know, say 1% badly want it? Because in my world, there's no such thing as 1% wanting it badly. You either want it 100% and all the way, or you don't. It is what it is. And those that, like I said, that rage out, spasm, freak out, project their own persecution and insecurities, and only God knows what else, and this, that, the other. These are people that sometimes claim to want it, but they don't really want it. Otherwise, if they did, they wouldn't be projecting 24/7 upon those of us that do. It's a well-known fact. Real people elevate real people. They don't take, they don't drain nor deplete said person of their soul's life source. Rather, they contribute to it somewhere, somehow. And I'm not necessarily referring to finance material. Rather, I'm referring to spiritual and psychological also. You know, while it's good having material things and finance, it's much better to actually have yourself. Because that's what I see, you know, within many people. Many people live cardinally rather than spiritually and psychologically. In other words, like I said to them, they think they're in a movie. They think, they're what's the word I'm looking for? Living a real life, when in actuality and reality, they never were and never have been. It's a well-known fact. In other words, they are living two lives at the same time without even realising it. Now, as uncomfortable that's going to be for many people to hear, it's the truth. But the question is, do you have the gonad strong enough to go inside of your own heart and your own mind in order to see the truth for yourself? Come to terms with it, as well as accept it? Or are you just gonna, like I say, become an NPC, like many people are today? Me personally, I would rather break free from all of that and become consciously aware rather than NPC'd aware, like many people are. In other words, being able, or being unable to think, live, breathe, eat, shite, wipe your own ass, and sleep for yourself. It's a truth. It's a well-known fact.